Hey guys, welcome back, and today we are going to replace a hard drive in a very old iMac. We're going to change it from regular hard drive to SSD. It is dog slow with a regular hard drive, so we're going SSD. Let's get to it. Okay guys, down in the nerd cave, sorry for the mess, but here's what we've got. We've got this old 17-inch, I think it is, iMac. Model number I will put in the description. I'm going to link you to the ifixit guide because that is really good at telling you how to get this baby apart. I still have it apart. You don't want to see me do that on camera because that's going to be incredibly boring, but there's a few steps you're going to have to go through to get it out. There's a couple of special tools that you're going to need also, and mainly it's these Torx type screwdrivers. You're going to need basically a set of these because Apple, for some reason, like to use about 10 different screw sizes in there. So these Torx you're going to need along with some regular Phillips, but it wasn't too bad. It was fairly easy. Following the ifixit guide, it's going to help you. I'll link that below. Okay guys, here is the ifixit guide. This is an A1195 model iMac 17-inch. And if you click on the hard drive replacement tab, this is what it's going to bring you guys. There's 20 steps. It says it's going to take you 1 to 2 hours. When you first do it, it probably is going to take you a while. It did not take me this long. I was probably a little more rough with this machine than what I should have been, just because it's old and I have another one for spare parts. So it's going to tell you exactly what you need here. You know, plastic card, spudger. I used a putty knife to open the back of the case, so you can improvise a little bit. Just be careful, be safe, make sure you unplug the power because you will get shocked when you open this thing up if you don't. Just be patient. If you take your time, you'll be fine with it. So follow this guide. I don't want to bore you in the video steps. Okay guys, here's what we're going to use. I have this hard drive cable that will enable us to plug this into the USB ports to get power and clone this hard drive. So you're going to want one of these. It makes it a lot easier than trying to piece together your own cables, but I'll link that in the description also. Okay guys, I have the SSD plugged in to the USB port, and when you do that in this old Lion machine, it's gonna be hard to see that screen, but it's gonna say, hey, we can't read this disk, what do you want to do? So we're going to say initialize. That'll open disk utility, and we're going to select our new one. Now this is a Kingston 240 gig SSD. I'll put a link to that in the description. It is a cheap drive. I think it's 30 bucks. So we're going to click that one. We're going to go ahead and go to erase, set it to Mac OS extended journaled. And we're going to give it a name to make this easier. We're going to call this New Mac. And we're going to click Erase, Erase, and make sure you have the right one selected when you do that. Now we're going to start this up, and we're going to hold down the Option key and boot this into recovery mode. And from this, we should be able to restore our existing system drive. So we clicked recovery. So we should be able to restore our existing system drive over to the SSD. So basically that's going to take all the information that's on here already and move it to the SSD. Okay, so what we're going to do first, it's going to bring up this utilities menu. We're going to select disk utility. So it's going to bring up this menu. We're going to drag our system drive and put it in the source, and we're going to grab our destination, which is our new Kingston 240 gig, and we're going to click restore. Now it says, are you sure you want to erase the Kingston media and replace its contents with that of Nick's iMac? Now Nick's iMac is my original disk. Kingston is my new one, so that's correct. You want to just make sure you have these correct, because this is where you can erase your system drive and put yourself in a bind. So make sure you're writing your old over to your new. So you click erase, and when you click erase, it is going to churn and copy. That may be hard for you to see, but the copy says it's going to take 16 minutes. So we're going to check out for a minute, and we'll come back and check up on this in a few minutes. Okay guys, it's done copying. It just was verifying, and now it says that it's the volume name has changed. It says Nix iMac. So what you want to do is grab each volume. I'll go over this one more time because I think I screwed it up in the beginning, but you want to grab your system volume, which I have named as Nix iMac, place it in the source, and then grab your new volume that you created when you erase and place it in the destination, and then click restore. So just make sure you got that order right. You don't want to mess that up and end up formatting your drive. So now we're going to go ahead and shut this down, and we are going to get the drive put in. Okay guys, I have the iMac disassembled following the ifixit guide. I'll link that below. I really need to get in here and remove these two screws up here. Alright guys, again I apologize for the mess of the nerd cave, but these screws are a Torx. I think I'm using a 9. Like I said, they're all over the place. Pretty it's not too bad, just all kinds of different sizes screws, which are a mess. So it's really easy to unplug that existing hard drive, and then you're going to want to take your connections, the power and the data connections, and plug them in to your new hard drive. Now, this is where you may want to get an adapter if you want to do this. I'll call it the right way. This one is it's a programming machine that we're putting together. So we're just we're going to throw it in here. We're going to lay it in. I'm going to put a piece of tape here just to hold it in place. But that's all we're going to do. We're just reviving this old Mac to use it for programming. Make sure you have it unplugged from the power, because this will give you a little zap, and that's not going to feel good. But I'm going to go ahead and just tape the new drive in place just to hold it so it doesn't keep flipping back and forth like this. And then we're going to lay all this back in together and put it all back together. Okay guys, we've got it back together. We're going to try our boot, and we're going to see what happens. This should boot off the new SSD. We got the Apple. We are waiting impatiently. What I do best. Spinny disk, Apple again. And ooh, look how fast and fancy that booted. So let's go ahead and do about this Mac. Now you can see the specs on this are pretty dog. We're going to go ahead and upgrade the memory to 4 gig. It's a dual core 1.83, but with 4 gig, this thing should run Linux pretty well. So let's go ahead and check our storage. And there we go, 240 gig. So we're good to go. This is the new Mac, new iMac with the SSD. Let me get some system specs for you. This is a 1.83 Intel Core 2 Duo with 2 gigs of RAM. Again, we're going to upgrade that RAM, and we're going to do that in a different video to show you how to do that. We can go up to 4 on this. It's running 10.7.5. We're going to do the more info button here. So as you can see, this has got the pretty weak Intel graphics, 17-inch iMac. So it's a pretty old iMac. But I mean, the response is kind of snappy for, you know, with an SSD. I mean, this was almost unusable with the old 80 gig hard drive. It was weak. But now, you know, we're doing pretty good. Let's just start iTunes. Now, if I did this on the 80 gig, it would sit there and bounce for probably a good minute before I got to the screen. So I would call this much snappier. it just opens things so much better. So we're going to keep upgrading this a little bit, try to make it a little bit faster, and then we're going to get Linux on it, and this will be a programming machine basically. We could still do it with Mac, but in all honesty, I hate Lion 10.7.5. The OS is slow compared to most of the other Mac OSs I've encountered, so we're going to make this go away, and really we're just going to use this for writing some programs. So this is part one. I think we'll make it. We'll end up doing a couple more parts on this machine, and we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching.